20 to 12, just doing a quick test just now, see how it all sounds. All right, good morning. Andy here. Welcome to World Watch. It's just coming up for 10 to 12 just now. We're going to spend a little bit of time looking at the situation that appears to be developing in the Middle East just now, obviously involving Iran, Israel, and pretty much everyone else that you can imagine. Reports just now circulating of missile and drone activity, along with warnings issued by US Central Command about civilian safety, something that we'll keep an eye on for the next hour or so. Just to say right at the start, though, this channel is very new. So we are building this in real time. The goal here isn't to pretend that we're a big news network or anything like that. It's simply to watch the events as they unfold and try and piece together and make a little bit of sense as to what's happening. If you are joining the stream at any point, you're basically sitting at the desk with me as we stare at things and talk about it. What we'll do though first is we'll look at what we actually know. With a lot of situations like this, there's a lot of online noise and not everything turns out to be accurate. So in a few minutes we'll have a deep dive and have a look at what's actually being reported. So what's actually being reported for us this morning, several monitoring accounts and journalists have been talking about the missile and drone activity linked to tensions, um, linked to the rising tensions, in fact, involving Iran and Israel, and of course the United States. At the same time, the United States Central Command has issued safety warnings, which is something that usually happens when the military is aware of potential escalation risk in the region. It's not for the sake of it. If they're asking folk to do something, there's obviously some knowledge that there is a need. Importantly, though, this is something that we'll keep an eye on throughout the next hour or so. There is a difference between reports circulating online and confirmed events. Massive difference. So we'll be very careful with that as well. Right now, though, we're still at the stage that we're watching things very closely. Nothing's been confirmed yet, or not everything, in fact. The reason it is worth paying attention, simply, is because Iran and Israel are two of the most sensitive flashpoints in global security just now. Very sensitive, very complex. When you start seeing things like drone launches, missile alerts, or military aircraft activity, those things, even though they might be routine, can sometimes be early indicators of something larger unfolding or something that's normal that we're just a little bit heightened and aware of. So sometimes it turns out to be absolutely nothing. Other times, though, those signs can be the first signs of a real escalation. So what we're going to do during this stream is just watch the signals, see what direction the situation goes in, and we'll take it from there as well. You can tell, again, from if I have a look at flight radar just now, it is completely empty over Iran, still. And again, if we start to zoom out, there isn't much change in the last little while, or in the last week or so, for flights going around this area here of Iran, across the Persian Gulf. You'll see that the strait just down here. We'll have a quick look at marine traffic, see what we can find here. Because obviously one of the kickoffs this morning is attacks that have allegedly been happening. So to give you a bit of context, around this area here, a couple of vessels were hit, and of course on the strait itself, around this kind of area, there was some more fires and a major incident on a vessel earlier this morning or through the night. So we'll keep an eye on it. There's not much civilian or commercial vessels heading through there just now, despite the fact that the US president did say it is open But I think people are starting to realise the fact that while he states something, it doesn't necessarily mean that it invokes the truth. So his words don't will it to be the case automatically. And again, one of the things we've noticed is that a lot of the first indicators don't actually come from individuals like him, governments, so on. Thanks to social media and the way the internet works, we've got flight radar, maritime traffic, satellite imagery, so many X accounts and other open source intelligence avenues where information can kind of be caught up with quite early. Again, what's developing and what's a fact can be two different things as well. If you're watching live though and you do see something, be it credible or something worth looking into, drop it in the chat, send a link, do whatever you feel necessary. Share the information. And we can turn this into a bit of a team effort. To be clear, though, we're not here to speculate or slag off about what countries are going to do or what personalities might be suggesting. The goal is simply to watch what's happening and separate confirmed developments from rumours, because during situations like this, the internet can get pretty chaotic pretty quickly. Now, if you are just joining us ahead of 12 o'clock, we're looking at reports of possible missiles and drone activity connected to rising tensions between Iran and Israel, along with warnings issued by US Central Command. At the moment, there's no clear confirmation of specific incidents, but there are enough signals circulating that it's worth keeping an eye on. We'll keep monitoring things here and see if any official confirmations or new developments appear. So it's just gone 12 o'clock, and we are seeing a little bit more information with regards to the school that was struck, the girls' school that was struck in Iran. According to a report published by Reuters today, well, this afternoon actually, seems that US forces may have struck an Iranian girls' school after reportedly using outdated targeting data. The report suggests that the strike might have been based on intelligence that identified the location as a military or operational site, but that the information might no longer have actually been accurate at the time of the strike. Now, of course, this is a pretty serious allegation if confirmed, because that means that a civilian site was hit due to incorrect or outdated targeting information, and that contradicts the claims that were made over the weekend and late last week that the United States does not target civilian installations. It was a Tomahawk, I believe, that was the rumours that hit it, and it was being investigated according to the Secretary of Defense, War. See if we can get this up for you just now. Stand by. So that's this morning. That came out from Reuters. Let's see. Story here. Hide it behind everything, of course. So this is from Reuters this morning. Yeah, let's slide this out. So first reported it was likely carried out by the US military. The Pentagon has stated that the matter is still under investigation. And at this stage, the incident is amongst one of the worst cases of civilian casualties in recent decades involving the US. So that's today. So it was Thursday of last week that Reuters first reported that there was an internal US military investigation that was showing US forces that were likely responsible for the strike on the girls' school in Minab. So that's the latest that we have from that. Bit of a shame. And yep, just keep an eye on that. See if there's any statements that come out or any reactions from the side of the United States. So there's the story a bit bigger there. So, yeah. It was a video that experts say appears to show US Tomahawk missile strike in the area, but exactly how the tragedy unfolded does remain unclear, and the Pentagon has declined to comment, saying that the investigation remains ongoing. The strike during the first day of the US and Israeli attacks on Iran killed 150 students, according to Iran's ambassador to the United Nations in Geneva. According to archived copies of the school's official website, the school is adjacent to a compound that was operated by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is the military force that reports to Iran's supreme leader. One of the sources who spoke in the condition of anonymity, said officials responsible for creating targeting packages appear to have used out-of-date intelligence. The second source confirmed that out-of-date intelligence appears to have been used. In response to a request for comment, the incident is still under investigation. The possible use of outdated targeting data was first reported in the New York Times yesterday. It's unclear how all data ended up being used. Of course, the investigation is still ongoing. Which brings into question, of course, the use of AI, because AI might have limited information at a certain point. Of course, US President Trump has claimed without evidence that Iran was responsible, but since then he said he doesn't know enough about the strike and that an investigation is ongoing, and that he will accept the results of that inquiry. US Defense Secretary Hegseth and other US officials have stressed that US would not deliberately target civilians, which is fair enough, that's reasonable, because that would be a war crime. But yeah, images of the funerals were shown on Iranian state television last week. Small coffins were draped with Iranian flags and plastered from a truck across a large crowd towards the gravesite. So yeah, try and keep an eye on that. It might be a bit slow. We'll see though. In terms of incidents like this, they are significant for several reasons. First, they can pretty much increase tensions very quickly as soon as somebody's targeting civilians. That's it. Um, Bets can kind of go off pretty quickly. They do often trigger international scrutiny investigations. So, from the outside audience, those looking in, the optics on it are terrible. And in the context of rising tensions, of course, involving these countries, reports like this are not exactly helpful for either side, but can be in the sense they actually hopefully taking a step back and figure out what's going on. Keep an eye out though for any official response from the Pentagon, the White House. Nothing much coming from the Iranian authorities though just now. We'll keep an eye on any journalistic reporting, and we'll keep an eye on the any further strikes as well. If it is the case that they're outdated targeting information, is that the case for just that site, or is that going to be the case for a lot of places? That's going to be a bit of a concern. And if you are just joining us, we are looking at developing reports from Reuters suggesting that a US strike may have hit an Iranian girls' school due to outdated targeting data. That report is still developing, and we're waiting to see whether officials confirm the details. So this is World Watch Desk. We are going to continue watching for updates on the story with regards to the girls' school that was hit, of course, 150 casualties as a result of that. It's now been determined or reported that the Pentagon may have used outdated targeting information. Of course, the school itself based next door to an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps facility. We'll keep an eye on that at the moment, as well as the wider regional situation involving Iran and Israel. So far, according to Reuters as well, Iran struck an Italian military base in Iraqi Kurdistan with a drone destroying a military vehicle. Iran's foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs has confirmed that the new supreme leader has been wounded, and Israeli military has struck the Tolkien facility in Tehran, where explosive substances were allegedly being tested as part of a secret nuclear weapons project, which again is the big lean on this, the big emphasis on that, is the nuclear weapons capability that Iran was allegedly producing. But again, arms and legs will of course come from that. The US and Iran have both already signalled no end or no quick end to the end of the war, with President Trump saying it was necessary to finish the job, and Iran warning that the world should be ready for oil at $200 a barrel after striking tankers in Iraqi waters and other ships near the vital strait. If any official statements or additional reporting appear with regards to the school or the Supreme Leader being wounded, we'll go through them here live. This one on the school, of course, does come from Reuters this morning, one of the major news agencies, which I'm sure you already know. More developments as well. A statement from the leader of the Islamic Revolution, Muttaba Khamenei, is expected shortly. I literally mentioned about 20 seconds ago that he was injured, but there is a statement expected from him very soon. That's been reported from the war monitors. I'll see if I can dig into that actually and see if there's any more. There's also videos circulating. That was very noisy. There's also videos circling on X just now about. I'm probably going to bring the volume down in this video because it was actually blasting. These videos. Give me a second, and we'll fire them up here. On this is on X just now, and this video reportedly shows the moment Iranians hit a US-owned oil tanker in the northern Persian Gulf last night. I mentioned that a bit earlier on. That's if you're looking at the map up towards the top left. Not ideal. So we'll see maybe more footage like that coming, but yeah, worrying. So once again, a statement is expected soon. From the leader of Iran. Oman has also moved ships from their Minna Al Fahal terminal. Bloomberg's reporting that they're shifting their ships. It seems a couple of tankers that were targeted off the coast of Basra, in fact, have been dealt with by Iraqi fighter fighters and port authorities who have reported that it's successfully been managed. They've successfully managed to control and extinguish the fire on board two oil tankers targeted earlier last night off the coast of Basra, identified as the Marshall Islands flagged MT Safe Sea Vishnu and the Malta flagged MT Zephyros, who were struck by an Iranian uncrewed surface vessel while conducting a ship-to-ship transfer within the territorial waters of Iraq. Still keeping an eye on this statement that's meant to be coming shortly. Reports of smoke coming out of the US consulate in Erbil in Iraq as well, following Iranian strikes this morning. There is also a bit of chat online about Netanyahu being hurt. Statements from the 7th of March and yesterday as well, actually, from Iran vowing continued strikes with an image that had been circulating. I'm not going to share it, but seems to fabricate the fact that he's been rescued out of some rubble. AI edited. No credible reports of any such incident, and I think that's been thrown as a bit of fake news. Big explosions in the Port Salah last night as well. So yeah, a lot more reports of the smoke coming from the US consulate in Erbil. See if we can get show you here. As you can see, that is the US consulate in Erbil, northern Iraq. Mentioned a couple of minutes ago, drone attack from the Iranians. These videos are now circulating on X, Twitter. More and more starting to come through. See if we can get more on this. Now, considering he's been injured, if there is going to be a statement or an address or whatever else, then the question is how seriously injured is he? You know. But yeah, not seen much in the way of this statement. We might not get much in the way of it. We will keep an eye on the War Monitor on X, which is at War Monitors, if you want to follow them yourself. Excuse the sniffing. It's that time of year when everything starts attacking the head. So mixed messages now. We've got one side of the fence saying that a statement from the leader of the Islamic Revolution is expected shortly, but the Sun in the UK is reporting that he is actually in a coma and has lost at least one leg. So let's see which angle that takes. They're reporting that he is in a coma, has lost at least one leg, as his rogue regime plunges the world into chaos. They're reporting that he was critically wounded in an airstrike after succeeding his father. The 56-year-old has lost at least one leg and has also suffered serious stomach or liver damage. It's unclear whether he was injured on the same day as his father, but he's not directing the strategy currently sparking energy market turmoil. So this will be interesting to see how that develops. So he's either able to talk or he's not. We'll see how that unfolds over the next wee while. 23 minutes past after 12. More videos coming out from the situation in Erbil. There is more reports now confirming this statement that will be released shortly. This is from the Iranian state-run Fars news agency. So Two sides of a coin going on just now, so we'll keep an eye on that. That seems to be something that's going to pique a lot of curiosity. "24 after 12." This morning or this afternoon's theme seems to have transitioned into a bit of a he says, she says. With regards to the reports of Iran's supreme leader being either in a coma and being legless, and not in the way you would hope, but having missing a leg. But then on the other side of the coin, we've got information coming from Iranian state-run media agency, the Fars, that he's going to be releasing a statement soon. It could be a written statement. He could be in a coma, and one might have been prepared for him. I think our best bet is just waiting to see if, how, and when that happens. Now, this is two sources I'm getting this from. Two sources are confirming that this statement is on the way. Only one source identifying that he's potentially in a coma. And not to discredit the Sun, but it is a red top, and you like a scandal. Although this channel is not supposed to be for that. Well, a few people feeling tense at the moment, I think, with this potential statement. Words can matter, so on. Okay, we're still waiting for this statement. Have a look at the FARS news agency's feed as well. Yeah. Don't seem to have published anything on X for the last 19 hours, so we'll. So the IRNA news agency reporting that Iran will be the burial ground of foreign intruders. First message of Ayatollah Saeed Muttaba Hosseini Khamenei will be released in a few minutes. That was 8 minutes ago. The strategic message, issued across 7 important chapters, contains special points regarding the martyred leader, people's role and duties, and the armed forces, executive bodies, and the resistance front, as well as the regional countries and how to confront the enemies. So we'll keep an eye on that then. I'm kind of angling towards the fact that this statement may be coming. I'm leaning towards that way. Perhaps the definition of a coma might have been that he was a bit hurt and got knocked out, perhaps. I'll see if we can get a feed though. If there is a statement, if it's going to be a televised one or whatever, we'll have a look.
In this context, the continued silence of international sports institutions and the double standards they apply to Israel can no longer be justified.
Apologies for the interruption there. We are in the process of trying to find a feed just now from one of the state broadcasters, one that has a statement. We may have found one. We'll hold off just now. We're watching that in the background for you. We'll see if anything appears. Usually what happens when I'll just backpedal slightly. Tabloid reporting just now in the UK is stating that there is a severe injury and coma that's been a factor for the new Ayatollah. Iranian state or semi-state media are suggesting that a statement is imminent. There's no confirmed official broadcast yet. However, when Iranian media say that a statement is coming shortly, it does usually mean one of the state broadcasters is about to air something. So we're having a look at Press TV just now, which is their English service. That's where statements are usually released through there or the Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting, the IRIB news channel. So we'll keep an eye on Press TV just now. Statement from the leader is expected shortly. But we'll see. If we can't just get it on the background here. Okay. So, bottom right there, we've got the feed now from Press TV. So if there is anything that's going to get broadcast in relation to the statement or otherwise, it is likely to be on there. And now you can see it as well. So quick glance at the screen, top left, still got the oil prices, which you can see over the last wee while has continued to increase with a few small drops. It does seem to be pushing up and up and up. Last night I was discussing things with a couple of colleagues from certain parts of the world. I'm going to throw them under the bus. But it does seem that when it comes to these tariffs and these events and stuff, it is ultimately Joe Public, those on the ground, civilians, if you want to say that, that end up paying for it. That might be increased gas prices, fuel costs, which we're kind of seeing anyway. Reminiscent of these tariffs that the US president likes to throw around, that while things do become more expensive in a sense, who's that more expensive to? And that's the US consumer, as it seems to be the case. We're going to keep an eye also on the Tasnim news agency. Again, everybody just on that same line of statement from the leader is expected shortly. Nothing substantial to indicate when or what that might be. Germany's foreign minister thrown comments in to say that the Strait issue should be resolved diplomatically. That is the only way to resolve it. More reports from Reuters coming out today as well, stating that the first 6 days of the US campaign against Iran has cost over $11 billion, which is an incredible amount of money. Drone alerts in the north of Israel at the moment. And it does seem to be more of a routine now when it comes to the drones and the alerts. 835 red alerts in the last 24 hours in Israel, and over 3,000 in the last week for today alone, hitting on 537. So we can see on the screen there now that the channel that we've got there, Press TV, is stating that a statement is expected shortly. In fact, the wording has changed on this one. It is stating that to issue first message shortly. So rather than a statement, it seems to be a message, which seems to angle more on the fact that it'll be him himself talking. Something that's a little bit difficult to do while you're in a coma. Trying to have a look round on that one. I was talking about the $11 billion that it's cost the United States so far, or in the last week, or the first 6 days. But that is a lot of money. A lot of money. She's ready.
Air defenses. And we know it's not just that, oh, they're just coming out because they know they won't be targeted. They have been targeted. The sites where they've been carrying out some of this rally.
Hmm. Looking at the report on the bottom right there, I don't know if that's snow.
against it because it will seem as though you're
Debris. Excuse me. The headline there's changed now to a denouncement on the EU for being complicit in the US-Israeli aggression. Um, Again, still on that same situation, that's mixed reports about Ayatollah's condition. The UK tabloid The Sun has claimed that he may be in a coma and has lost a leg, but of course, Iranian state-linked media are saying that a statement from him and a message is expected from him shortly. So we are watching that at the moment. See if the statement actually appears. Until we see something directly, though, I will treat it as unconfirmed at the moment. One big thing is during crises like this, false death reports are quite prominent and massive. We saw that with Netanyahu on the 7th, and of course again yesterday as well, which simply just was not true. There's a lot of propaganda, there's a lot of information that's going around. Whatever way you want to dress it up, propaganda, misinformation, fake news, regardless, it's the same thing that you do in the playground when you're at school. You know, you're in a quarrel and you amplify and embellish your situation to tell your side of the story. This is just on a grander scale. So scanning again just now. Still nothing more on this statement. Quick sanity check. Reports coming through from Axios, citing a US source, Trump is eager to continue the war for at least another 3 to 4 weeks before making a decision. Whatever that decision is, it's a decision. Still curious about this statement. It was a good few minutes. But it was quite rapid. Tucker Carlson recently, actually, turns out, interviewed the Iranian Prime Minister via a video call link or something, not face to face, for obvious reasons. Again, most of us gone quiet on this statement front. Of course, 2 days ago, Trump declared victory. What that means, we don't know. So we switched to different picture just now, which is not showing. It's Gavin Newsom. Here's the audio, in fact.
As it relates to drone strikes, we've been aware of that information. We've been working collaboratively through the SOC, which we established right after the war began, the State Operations Center, working with the Office of Emergency Service, but also working locally to make sure we transmit any information that we have received, and we're aware of that, which has been reported, I think, by ABC7. We're aware of that information, and we transfer that information in real time to our local partners. Drone issues have been always top of mind, and we've assembled some work groups specifically around those concerns. But that's all I'll share at the moment. I have nothing more insightful beyond just what's been reported and how we're transmitting what we know to our local partners, which is critical.
So it was Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, talking about the possible threat of Iranian drones, or well, not necessarily Iranian drones, but possible attacks on the western coast of the United States. Talking yesterday um, regarding the information received after FBI warned police that Iran could retaliate with drone attacks, specifically on the west coast. Why? Not sure. Military analysts now saying that it might require a ground operation to seize the Iranian coastline along the vital waterway between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, also known as the Strait of Hormuz. Such an operation would mark an open-ended escalation, potentially leading to much higher casualties among US and allied forces. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. It's a very small piece of land, to be fair. It's teeny. We can just hold on it right now. We'll use flight radar for this, but if we look at the strait just now, so Keshim up there in the north, but yeah. So it's the between Bandar, if you like, and Kisab. So we've got the strait. Right, where we're looking at right now. There's Hormuz. One aircraft though does seem to be heading north east, or was. Now he's turning around. Emirates 3 Yankee Mike. Dubai to London. So that's good news then. So Boeing 777's just taken off from Dubai, heading for London Stansted Airport just now. Interestingly enough, though, when it took off from Dubai, it did enter Iranian airspace, so I'd be curious to see what's going on there. DHL flying over Iranian airspace just now. They're only at, what, 18,000 feet? Leipzig to Muscat. Certainly a lot of aircraft going and being rediverted, I would assume. Whether this is a normal viewpoint, who knows? Another aircraft there as well. Muscat. Fly Dubai. No origin noted either. It does seem as though that Emirates flight we were having a look at there is gone. Just keep the screen round here. Actually, that's something worth watching. Maybe. So again, seeing that British broadcaster GB News also reporting that the new Supreme Leader is in a coma. Uh, Iran's new Supreme Leader in coma as officials insist written message to be released imminently. Said to have lost at least one leg in the incident and sustained severe internal injuries in an airstrike. Sources suggest the 56-year-old was seriously wounded in an airstrike, understood to have lost at least one leg, and believed to have sustained several severe internal injuries, possibly to his stomach or liver. Remains unclear whether it was on the same day as his father was killed. And he says to be receiving treatment in intensive care at the Sina University Hospital in Tehran's historic quarter. Entire section of the building has been sealed off reportedly. Again, also per the Sun. So GB News are getting this from the Sun. Again, that was the original link that we had for this. There doesn't seem to be much else on that. Again, also coming out today is Iran's Supreme Leader to issue first major address covering 7 key areas, including countering enemies. So if it's, is it messages? Is it an address? Is it, you know, we'll just need to wait and see. we're obviously seeing on the screen the Energy Secretary for the US, Chris Wright, has said that the US is not ready to escort tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Just gets me thinking about the insurance policy that was being mentioned the other week. I think it was US-backed insurance or some form of financial guarantee for commercial ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz, with the idea being that oil tankers and cargo ships must carry war risk insurance. That's what it was, war risk insurance to enter high-risk areas. So when conflict rises, insurers often raise premiums massively or refuse coverage full stop. Without insurance, ships can't legally sail through many waterways or ports. So the proposal from the United States would mean that Washington effectively is underwriting that risk. So they become the underwriters and offer an alternative solution. In practice, though, instead of a private insurer taking the risk, it means that the US government would guarantee compensation if a vessel is attacked while transiting the strait. So, if a tanker is hit by a drone, a missile, a mine, or another form of naval attack, the theory is that the financial loss would be covered by a government-backed program. You might be able to replace the ship and crew, but you're not getting them back. There's a few things that probably need to be fleshed out with that. Now, for the strait itself, for Hormuz, you need to remember that 20 or up to about 30% of the world's oil passes through it, the seaborne oil. You've got tankers from Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, they all use the route. Any disruption will push oil prices up straight away and quickly. It is not, though, the first time this has happened. So there was a bit of a scandal. Admittedly, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh no, they're taking advantage. But no, it did happen during the tanker wars in the Iran-Iraq war, where maritime risks there were guarantees that were given during previous conflicts as well. But of course, the United States potentially saying that they're not ready to escort them yet. It's not something they can physically do at the moment. Muttaba Khamenei, son of the assassinated former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was selected by Iran's Assembly of Experts on March 9, 2026 amid the ongoing conflict. His first public statement is expected any minute now. Of course, caution to the wind that for the last 50 minutes or so that has been the case. Probably not as long as that, but any minute now seems to have a broad meaning at this time. We were running this till about 1 o'clock. It is just fast approaching 1 p.m. UTC time, UK time. But we'll hold on just now and see if any of these statements, this statement comes out. So, Israel currently dealing with missiles coming inbound central Israel. This is coupled with a rocket and drone attack from Hezbollah, rockets launched from Lebanon. After a video call with heads of states for all members of the G7 on Wednesday, French President Emmanuel Macron declared publicly what others had said privately, that no one can tell what the US president wants from this ongoing war with Iran. Israeli officials told Axios that their impression is that Trump is not planning to end the war in the next 2 to 3 weeks, but are accounting for the possibility that he makes an abrupt decision if he concludes his objectives, or concludes that his objectives have been met against Iran. Of course, both Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu had hoped that the opening strike last Saturday would rapidly destabilise the regime in Tehran. However, it hasn't happened, and 13 days later, both understand that they're still in a conflict as well. Bit of a mess. IDF have announced that Abu Dar Mohammadi, who they say was a central figure in the military coordination between Hezbollah and the Iranian regime, has been targeted in Beirut on Tuesday, just gone there. He was operating as a commander in Hezbollah's missile unit and was killed in an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon this week. IDF have also said the commander of the South Lebanon sector in Hezbollah's elite Radwan force was killed. Abu Ali Rian was targeted in an airstrike in the southern Lebanese town of Haruf on Saturday, according to the military. They say that Rian managed the Radwan force in southern Lebanon and was a central figure responsible for coordinating operations, recruiting operatives, and managing the unit's weapons supply chain. The IDF says it has killed over 350 terror operatives in Lebanon since hostilities escalated this month, mostly Hezbollah members, including over 100 fighters in the Radwan force, and more than 60 command centres of the Radwan force have also been struck, according to the IDF. They've also expanded an evacuation warning today of southern Lebanon, telling all civilians south of the Zerani River that they should evacuate their homes immediately. This comes after more alerts of missiles and drone strikes coming into Israel in the last 15-20 minutes. Three minutes after one now, still nothing on the Supreme Leader Ayatollah and his statement, his alleged statement. Airstrikes now being reported though in Shiraz, in Iran. East Tel Aviv now getting a warrant at the moment. So again, still looking for this statement. No words yet. Um, so a couple of US lawmakers now are calling for Trump's impeachment with regards to the school. So that's confirmed rocket alerts for Tel Aviv right now. Red alerts reported across the Gush Dan right now. Let's see from will show you just now. The alert area for yeah, Gush Dan just now. So that's what it's looking like at the moment. So that's incoming strikes to Israel from Hezbollah and Iran. Mixed missile strikes and drones. That's what's been reported and warned of just now. The same has been reciprocated though to Iran, and still no further forward with this statement that we're supposed to hear. Within minutes, an hour ago. So again, a lot more of the statements coming soon. Sirens still sounding in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and the West Bank. There's also reports of explosions in Shiraz in Iran as well just now. We'll keep an eye out for this statement that has been imminent for the last hour. Whether that's something verbal that he's saying to camera or if it's pre-written, we're yet to find out because, of course, there are conflicting reports that the new Ayatollah is in fact in a coma down a leg. Okay, so seen on the feed there in the bottom right from public TV is that, sorry, press TV, is the first message from the Ayatollah will be published shortly. So I think that answers that question then, that it won't be coming through as a broadcast, but it will be published. So it does look as though it's a written statement. So again, keeping the big question mark above the fact whether or not he is indeed in a coma. So something worth diving into. So again, the allegation is, or the suggestion at the moment is that he has been in a coma, lost a leg, and has suffered severe internal injuries. Whether that's related to the same attack that killed his father or not is yet to be confirmed, as is the fact whether he's injured at all. Just elsewhere just now, though, southern Lebanon, new evacuation order has just been issued for them. We'll get that up on screen for you just now. Stand by. We'll switch these around. So yeah. So pretty much all of southern Lebanon just now received an evacuation order. Sirens still sounding in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, West Bank. the video that showed you earlier of the tanker being attacked by the IRGC Navy. It's alleged that they were ignoring warnings from the Navy, and that's when they were attacked. But yeah, the video that showed earlier on, it does seem to confirm that the tanker was the Safe Sea Vishnu that was hit in the northern Persian Gulf. All seems to be okay at the moment. Although the vessel itself, it was struck on the port side, which is on its left, as it was facing northwest. Just to give a bit of context there on a map, northwest is pointing to the top left if you're looking at the map. So where Ras Al Khaimah is, if you look at that red line, the boundary between Iran and the other nations there, that's pretty much the direction that ship was travelling in. So if it was on the port side, it means it was on the lower part of the screen. So in other words, they've attacked the ship, not on the Iranian side. So it would have been from the other side of the ship. So as the ship's going on the right-hand side, they'll have Iran. On the left-hand side, they'll have everybody else. And it's that left-hand side that they've been reportedly attacked on after allegedly refusing warnings from the Iranians last night. Large explosions being heard in Greater Tel Aviv. Footage now being released of what seems to be a helicopter shooting down drones in Dubai. So it looks as though Dubai have got patrols in the air just now. Helicopters going around. Plenty of videos on that on X. Capital of Jordan, Amman. Several other cities in the kingdom. They are now experiencing sirens going off. So just to recap there, we've got in Iran explosions in Shiraz. I believe there's some movement around Tehran as well. Again, missile strikes coming from the Israeli/American side. Jordan experiencing a lot of sirens going off in the capital Amman and several other cities in the kingdom as well. That's matching into the evacuation order for pretty much all of southern Lebanon. Tel Aviv, the West Bank, Jerusalem, all on the receiving end of some stuff at the moment. So it looks as though this statement is going to be published shortly. It doesn't look as though anybody's going to come and make an announcement or so on and so forth. It is suggested that this statement will take the form of varying messages, several messages that will talk about how to deal with those in the neighbours in the region, in the area, or so on, various other arms and legs that have been suggested from it. So again, we shall just need to wait and see, in all honesty. Heading elsewhere, to Romania, they have Romania's top defence body, according to the Associated Press, has actually approved the US request to increase its use of air bases to aid the Middle East campaign. So this is how the US is looking to increase its presence in Romania, or not looking to. It looks as though Romania has allowed it now. That came out yesterday. An Iranian police chief just coming out on television saying anyone posting anxiety-inducing content on social media will be arrested and may face execution. They're ready to shoot protesters in the streets, and they're past pretending now. Incredible. So it turns out that America not only about using Romanian air facilities and so on, but they are also looking for Romania to deploy extra fighter jets and troops to the Devezelu military base to back America up. But you know, lots of stuff tying in with the conflict in Ukraine and Russia as well. A lot of things to do with that. A blocked €90 billion loan that was blocked by Viktor Orban. We've also got, the president of Romania saying that they do not want to interfere with the domestic affairs of Hungary, but stating that it's not acceptable for Hungary to try and stop the EU support for Ukraine. So it looks as though something was stopped. This loan was stopped. For going to going to Ukraine. So again, we're not seeing much in the way of this so-called statement that's was going to be issued and then published and so on. It's been around about an hour and a bit since that chat started. So we're going to start wrapping up things here. If it's going to be published, there's nothing we're going to hook onto that straight away. The main thing we're trying to identify is whether this chap is in a coma or not. I guess we're just going to find that out as we progress through the days, or if not today. Over the last hour or so, we have been monitoring a few developments connected to the wider situation in the Middle East, no less the allegation from some tabloids in the West that the new Ayatollah is in a coma, having lost a leg and suffered severe internal injuries. We've also got reports coming out of Iran that a statement is due to be released or published shortly, which is going to lay out some points. And one of the things that we have been watching closely was the suggestion that it could be released shortly, obviously, but it's not been the case. It's been over an hour now since it was going to be released in minutes. Within that time period, though, there has been increased activity in both Iran, Jordan, Israel, Lebanon as well. So again, lots of circulating reports of different things. Now, earlier in the stream, we did look at the reports from Reuters suggesting that the US strike that hit an Iranian girls' school was actually caused by outdated targeting data. Now, that story is, of course, still developing. There's been no formal statement or acknowledgement from the United States that we're aware of at this time. We'll keep an eye out to see if there's an official response that clarifies exactly what happened. And hopefully we'll maybe get a statement from the White House or the Pentagon that's substantial enough that it gives some answers. At this stage, though, we do seem to be in a bit of a holding pattern. We've got the stand by. So it doesn't seem as though the sound's coming out for you, but talking about wanting relationships with their neighbours.
Praise be to the Almighty God and protectors of the religion and those
There
who
we go.
assist his religion. This part is in Arabic, eulogizing the prophets and the Imam Mahdi. So at the beginning of my speech, I need to offer condolences regarding the martyrdom of the sage leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, and seek blessings and prayers for each and every member of the Iran nation, also all members of the Muslim community and those who serve the Muslims, those who sacrifice, and those who have survived in the recent war, and also myself. So the second part of my speech, I'm addressing the great Iranian nation, first and foremost, regarding my stance as regards the votes of the Assembly of Experts. This is the one who serves you, Sayyid Moshtaba Khamenei, simultaneously with you and through the Iranian television news. I got informed about the vote of the Assembly of Experts. For me, taking the seat of two great leaders, the great Khomeini and of martyr Khamenei, it's really tough job because this seat used to be taken by those who, after 60 years of the struggle and jihad on the path of God, and dispensing with different kinds of material pleasures, they turned into an outstanding figure, not only in the contemporary era, but also during the rule of, throughout the rule of this nation. They lived a life by relying on the Almighty God and the righteous. So I had the opportunity to visit his body after martyrdom. What I saw was a mountain of strength, and I heard that he had his hand clenched in a punch. So I take the opportunity to briefly explain a few points, and I will give details at a later time on different occasions. This is the reason how difficult it is to take the seat of the leader. I seek the assistance of God and also the assistance of you people. So in continuation, I need to mention a point that has to do directly with the core of my speech and message, and that is the fact that including the arts and skills of the great leader was getting the people engaged on all fronts and giving them insight and information. And when it came to practice, he relied on people's power. This is how he interpreted the meaning of a republic system, and from the depth of his heart, he believed in this. So you can see this clearly in the past few days where the leader had no commander-in-chief and leader. You witnessed that. So insightfulness of the great Iranian nation in the recent events and their steadfastness, resilience, and bravery and presence, it's made the friends admirers.
So what's weird about this report and this statement is it doesn't seem to be entirely in the first person. I don't know if it's just us picking that up, but some of the things we're taken away from it. We've thwarted attempts to divide Iran. US bases should immediately be closed in the region, otherwise they'll be attacked. Affirming the fact that the Strait of Hormuz must remain closed. and that the region may face complete power outage within 30 minutes if the Iranian electricity grid is destroyed. He says the attacks on Gulf Arab neighbours will continue, and that they'll avenge the crimes committed by the enemy, especially the crime of the Minab school. Don't forget, we're still waiting for official statements from the American side on that, where 150 children were killed from a US Tomahawk missile due to outdated targeting information.
It was only to mention, I used the verse to draw attention to the presence of you people, your role. If we are deprived of that blessing, instead we have the Amar-style presence of the people bestowed upon this nation. You should be aware that if you are not on the stage powerfully, neither the leadership nor any organization and body whose function is to serve the people, they will not be offering effective performance. Now, for this to realize an optimal way in the first place, we should recall the Almighty God and rely on God, and also the blessings of God and the infallible imams, like an elixir, something that would guarantee and open up new opportunities and bring us victory over the adversaries. This is a great concession that you are qualified for, and your enemies are devoid of. And secondly, we also need to stress the unity among the people from different strata and sects. It should not be dented in any way, and this can be done by doing away with points of differences and putting aside the differences for now. And thirdly, presence on the stage effectively should be maintained that's what you have shown during the days and nights of the war, and also in different ways. You have been effectively maintaining your presence on social, political, educational, cultural, and even security presence. And what matters is that the proper role should be understood well, and it should be implemented to the best of your ability. One of the main functions of responsibilities and the statesman's jobs is actually to remind the different strata of society of their functions. So the significance of the presence on the Quds Day rallies of this year is what I need to remind here. This should shatter the enemy schemes and should be borne in mind by everyone. Fourthly, make sure you would offer each other assistance. This is the specificity of the Iranians, and it's expected that on these special days and in this situation, when some people are going through different kinds of hardships, this would be manifested further. So I would use the opportunity to ask those sectors who offer service to the people, they should offer any service and contribution to the vulnerable parts of the society, the relief work, and such activities should be extended to people. If these are considered and implemented, you people will reach your great days and glory. And I can cite an example, a victory over the enemy in the present-day war. That's an example. Now, the third part of my speech, I would like to offer appreciation cordially to our great competence in a situation where our country has been under aggression by the leaders of the world imperialism and arrogance. You have blocked the way of the adversaries.
So while that's playing off in the background just now, he is in the third part of his of his message. We have got a picture now of the Ayatollah in hospital that's been released from Iranian media. This one here. So this is an alleged photo of the Supreme Leader Muttaba Khamenei, which has been published by Iranian media. Suggested that he was a little wounded in both legs the day his father was killed. He hasn't been seen since his appointment as the Supreme Leader, and of course did not appear in his own allegiance ceremony. This was instead filled by supporters bringing a cardboard cutout in his place. So yeah. Now, Israeli officials have told the New York Times that the leader has sustained injuries to both legs. It doesn't look as though he's in a coma, though. But yeah, so it does seem to be confirmed that he is injured. Whether he's in a coma or not, we do not know. Obviously, he's compos mentis enough to get a statement out. Now, this is being published throughout Iranian media outlets just now. Does seem as though it has been drafted by aides, translated as well. It's probably why it sounds a little bit odd. Important to remember as well that Press TV is translated to English. But we are going to look at wrapping things up here just now. As we're closing, the statement attributed to the new leader of Iran had been circulating through Iranian media. It does appear to be issued in written form and then delivered in audio, as we're hearing now. But at the moment, it does seem to be a written release that's been attributed to him rather than a direct broadcast from him. He is in hospital at the moment. There seem to be injuries. We did also follow reports earlier relating to the Reuters article on the possible strikes involving outdated target data, which resulted in the school getting hit and 150 casualties as a result of that. Things are moving a little bit slowly at the moment, rather than stretching the stream, though, to hope that we find something to talk about and keep it unnecessary. We will pause coverage here at the moment and continue monitoring the situation offline. Now, if there are any major developments later on today, particularly around the Iranian leadership statement or the situation in the region, we will come back live and take a look at it together. Thank you if you have joined us. Give the video a like, give it a subscribe and stuff. We're very low in numbers at the moment. We've just started, so the more love you can share, even better. But apart from that, this has been World Watch, watching global events as they unfold. I'm Andy, and we will see you again soon as we find more developments.